Yes. Yes. We got the new graphics. The new graphics are fully on display for those of you who saw them or you're just going to see them. It is the recap lunch hour with me, Guff, Ryan McGuffey here on the recap. Under the weather today. Actually was under the weather over the weekend and feeling a lot better than I was. And so keeping it safe here in the bowels of the estate and going to talk plenty of what we saw over the weekend. And obviously, we got a Bears football game tonight. The Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings tonight, 7:20 p.m. Monday Night Football. There's dual Monday Night Football going. I kind of find it ironic in case this is a clunker. We can click over to another clunker in the Falcons and the Raiders. But, a lot to discuss here. I want to go back to the brand here. Hang on, a lot of comments coming in. Jordo, Kyle Tucker, and Carson Kelly. Oh, yeah. Going back to the Cubs on Friday. Yeah. Swayze, what up, dude? Good to have you guys. Yeah, the Cubs, what they did over the weekend was good. A lot of new graphics flowing here, people. A lot of new graphics flowing. For those of you who didn't see, look at this. Look at the new graphics. Getting the daughters animation on display here. Let's go. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so the Bears a 7-point underdog. Will Swift play? Where's Cap? Young Sue. He doesn't live at my house. Come on, man. I tell you, I'm under the weather. So staying away from my guy Cap at least for another 24 hours. Swift is definitely questionable with the groin injury. We have Braxton Jones who's out. Steve, thoughts on David Bodie to the Dodgers? Good for the Dodgers, man. It's a minor league deal. You'll see deals like this all the time. He'll probably end up being like the next Chris Taylor out there. Is it Taylor? Yeah. Just out there, just doing his thing. No, Bodie, it ran its course with the Cubs. It was a 5-year, $15 million deal. There's Clyde. Ignoring you again, my friend. Absolutely. You ask, what do you want me to what do I tell you about the Cubs inquiry on Roki Sasaki? I told you guys, if I were the Cubs, I'd pass on him. I'd inquire, but if he truly is concerned about a big media market, adios. Mike, here we go. The question now at hand. He expects an ass whipping in Minnesota, 34-14 Vikings. I kind of feel that a little bit. My initial thought actually, Mike, was 31-13, but we'll get to my prediction in a bit. Love it. Yeah, Swayze. You want some? Yeah, you guys liking the graphics? Swayze loves it. Thomas telling you want some McDonald's now. Lunch tacos tomorrow on Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. We should bring that out. We should make Taco Tuesday a thing here in the lunch hour. Now that you guys are saying that, I like that. Yeah, look at the positivity for the graphic. Damn, now I got to go get a burger after that pick. So love it. We'll definitely display the graphics now that we got them up and running. Sean, with the Commanders win, the Bears are officially eliminated. Oh God, are we really playing that in the hunt thing? Come on, guys. The Bears have been eliminated for weeks. Young, let me ask you a question. So I'm in the fantasy playoffs too. Listen to this. I was a ride or die with Caleb guy. That's how I drafted this team. I never do that. I usually stay away from Bears. I drafted Caleb Williams. I'm in the playoffs. I'm in position to win. I have Caleb and DJ Moore tonight. I have a 7-point lead. She has the Minnesota Vikings defense. I don't want to say it's over. We've seen it is not over. It's far from over. Should you play Cole Kmet tonight? I mean, who are your other options at this point? I don't know. Is it Chim? Lions still winning this damn thing. Next man up. Yesterday's game was phenomenal. 48-42. It never was really that close. It felt like the Bills and Josh Allen wrapped up the MVP last night. I'm all in on the Bills and Lions. Like, I want that Super Bowl so bad. I love the Bills. I think that I'm going to adopt the Bills as my team. I'll stay out of the NFC. I do love the Lions, but that seems sacrilegious. So I'm going to ride the Bills as my team. Since we don't get that kind of love here in Chicago, I love Josh Allen. I love everything about him. Pablo, have you recovered from Friday's holiday party you talked about? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you, Pablo. Yeah, we stopped by the Felco holiday party. It was brief. We made it was an afternoon party. I don't know. I kind of went into a spiral after that. Saturday night it didn't go well, and then not all day yesterday. If I'm not moving, it's hard to keep me down. But thankfully there was football to keep me grounded. So Jess loves the graphics. You still want to keep the original logo. All right. Well, the original logo is at the office. So, Jess, maybe what I'll do at the end of every show is sign off with the daughter's original artwork. But, for those of you who ask, here, we've turned it into motion graphics here, which you absolutely have to love, which I do because it incorporates everything. We're taking the lunch hour bigger and better, bigger and better. Clyde wants to get back to baseball. They need a right-handed starting pitcher and a closer. They're in the market for a left-handed pitcher from the Marlins, Jesus Luzardo. That'd be a good move for the Cubs. Controllable starting pitcher. My guy Bruce Levine is all over that. If you follow him on Twitter, he is all over the Cubs on Jesus Luzardo. Thinks the Cubs want that done as early as this week. I agree with you, Mike. I could not agree with you more. As soon as I heard that he'd rather have a softer landing spot, that's great. If he's super talented, or maybe he's the best Japanese pitcher we've seen, that concerns the hell out of me. Like, soft landing spot, go pitch in Pittsburgh then. That's fine. Steve, feels like losing out, even though for the Bears is great, but would it cost Poles his gig? The Bears, like, if that's what you're judging Ryan Poles on at this point, is losing out to keep his job, tells me he might be losing his job anyway. Because if it's about wins and losses at this point, the GM really has nothing to do with preparation and getting a team ready to play for the next 3 weeks. So we've seen the rift. We've seen some of the reports that it's not been all that sacrimonious between Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren. That concerns me. Just the idea of Kevin, I'm starting to not like any of it. That building's seems like it's up for grabs right now. Hope Cap is paying your daughter for that artwork. Terry, that's a great point. I should get Cap on that. That's a good point. Child labor laws, man, they're in effect. No way Larry Borum starts tonight. It's got to be... Dude, does it really matter? Like, I'm being dead serious. The Bears line is a turnstile. I mean, at this point, it's all about 18. I've been saying that for a while. Keeping him upright. Is it 56 sacks? It's 56, 59. It's embarrassing, the total. The kid's out there just getting pasted every week. He's got a turnstile at each tackle. Let me take a look here. NFL, I'm pretty sure, I thought it was 56 sacks. It might be 59 sacks. Caleb Williams, 56. That's 11 more than CJ Stroud, by the way, who's second. 11 more than the guy who's second place. Ira, what's up, man? With the O-line performance, at what point in remaining games do you sit Caleb? I don't. I know that seems crazy because of protection. There's no way I'm benching a guy to protect him. I don't like that. I know it almost kind of seems like an oxymoron, but he's been sacked 56 times in 13 games. So you do the math on that real quick. That's almost 5 per, 4.5 per. Yeah, 4 and change, over 4 sacks a game. So unless you get to a point where it's like 8, 9 sacks, I don't know. I'm not benching Caleb because of that. I see that Patrick Wisdom, there's multiple people that are telling me Patrick Wisdom signed in Korea. If you remember from a few lunch hour weeks ago, I mentioned that could be a good spot for him where he can go out there and lead the Korean League in like home runs. Tory Taylor used to play for the Iowa Hawkeyes, former player. Are you a former player, Jordo? Yeah, we definitely know that Tory Taylor gets a lot of love in this town. Hasn't really shown the 4th round pick, but Jordo, were you a teammate of his? If Larry Borum starts tonight, this organization will never, ever win, ever. I mean, at some point, you got to play the guys on your roster, and they don't have a lot of offensive line depth, which is damning on the GM as well. But I'd feel the same way, Mike. I'd be more inclined to say that going forward. Like, if we get to next year, and we're still sitting here talking about the same depth, the same guys at line. Kmet or Michael Mayer from the Raiders. Ooh. Yeah, you're in a real situation here. I mean, it's not ideal. I mean, Brock Bowers is getting like all of the targets in Las Vegas. I think you got to go Kmet by default here. In these, I'm pulling up the Kmet versus. I mean, yeah, Kmet at least has 50 targets. I'm still going down even. I think you got to go Cole Kmet here, unless you have. I don't know what your situation is with scoring and PPR and all that other stuff, but I'm going way down the line because of the dominance of Brock Bowers. I hang on. I forgot Michael Mayer is not. Hang on for a second. He can't believe I'm spending this much time on your fantasy team, dude. He's got 15 catches this year. Come on, this should not be a debate. Come on. I love that, Steven. I think the Cubs should make 100 calls about Dylan Cease. Like, right the wrong of trading Dylan Cease to the White Sox and go get him back, even if it's 1 year. See what you can get for maybe a guy outside the top 100 or maybe just inside the top 100 for Dylan Cease. Are you kidding me? That dude's better than Jesus Luzardo, no doubt. The real Phil Simms. Josh Allen won the MVP yesterday, and I believe the Bills are the only team in the AFC who can beat the Chiefs. Let me see. Am I going to co-sign the first one? Yes. Am I going to co-sign the second one? No. I think there are multiple teams in the AFC that can beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. And I know what I'm doing here. I know that I'm going against the grain and saying the Chiefs can't possibly do it again. I know. However, I do think the Baltimore Ravens can also beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I do. The problem is with the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to have to go to Kansas City and do it. Excuse me. So is Buffalo. That's part of earning the. I mean, the Chiefs are 13-1. It's insane. It's not even their best team, and they're 13-1. So, like all good champions, everything's going to have to run through Kansas City. But I do think Baltimore's capable. Do I think any? I don't think Pittsburgh's capable of doing it. I don't. I don't think Houston is. I don't think Denver is. They're just too young. But I do think you got two veteran teams in Buffalo and Baltimore. Swift or Sincere. Man, you're really struggling here, Young. I would say wait and see what Swift's status is. You get too many Bears also. Oh, the graphics make you. Everybody's going. We should get Burger King or McDonald's as our sponsor for this show. There's a lot of McDonald's and Burger King references here. That's what I said, Clyde. That's why the White Sox are making a pitch, because they feel like they have a shot. But then I would question his competitiveness and will to win. Why would he even want to come over here if he wasn't A, making money, and B, wanting to win? Sean, what's up, man? Hopefully Kieran got his things in order. That bull rush is going to be a career ender for Caleb and would suck to see him lose. You guys, stop wishing injury into, like, stop talking it into existence here. The guy's been sacked 56 times and still getting up every day and every play. He'll be able to adjust. He'll be able to get out of the pocket. Let me pull up that box score from a few weeks ago when the Bears played the Vikings and took it into overtime after a ridiculous comeback. That game should have been long over. Caleb sacked only 3 times, which is a shock. He was only sacked 3 times in that Brian Flores bring the house defense. I could see a situation. Well, first of all, expect that to be the same. It's going to be loud in that building tonight. The Vikings are playing for the 1 seed here, folks. They win tonight. They're tied with the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles for best record in the NFC. Now, because of tiebreakers and stuff, oh, baby, they need some help. But if they keep winning, and I think they have another date with Detroit, if I'm not mistaken, because this thing's coming down to that game. Yeah, they lost to the Lions in that epic last-second field goal earlier in the year. The last game of the year, Vikings at Lions. It could be for the number 1 seed. It literally could be. The Vikings are going to win tonight. They're at Seattle next week. Then they have Green Bay at home. Dude, it's conceivable. The Vikings could go 15-2. Think about that. Have the original paper graphic signed by Artist and Crayon, then have the entire team sign it and frame it displayed on the wall next to Ditka. Ooh. I'll move Ditka out of the way for that. I got room. We got a spot. We got a spot over here next to the Beatles and the White Sox. I like that idea, Pablo. Who cares if the Cubs got King Tuck? We need to get Alonso from the Mets. First of all, King Tuck's as we had Jim Callis from MLB Pipeline on Inside the Clubhouse on Saturday. King Tuck, one of the 5 to 10 best hitters in all of baseball. Totally agree with that. The numbers tell you that. I am all in on the Cubs signing Pete Alonso. I think it makes too much sense. I think it's going to be about 5 for 125. He'd bring an edge to that clubhouse, to that city, or to this city, to that team, a spark that I think's missing. So all in. By the way, all of you out there from Toronto Sports Insider who are watching, my guy TSI Mike, thanks for coming over. I'm a big fan of integrating two countries together, and that's what we're doing tonight and today. The Bulls and Raptors tonight, a little combination platter here for you. 2 different YouTube channels coming together. My guy, TSI Mike, Toronto Sports Insider, bringing the people over here and vice versa. Make sure you take a look at us, subscribe, get your notifications, click that bell. Anytime we drop new content, which is a boatload of times a day, we're here for you. Phil, any truth in both Bellinger and Horner to the Yankees and bringing back Stroman? Okay, so this is a lot here. I don't think the Cubs would do that deal in a second. They would not get Bellinger and Horner. I'd be stunned if that happened. Stroman, how do I say this? Liked, but also beats to his own drum. So I'm not sure, like, in terms of, is he a bad clubhouse guy? I'm not saying that, but he kind of he's his own guy. And first of all, I don't understand why you're bringing that money on by getting that money off. I don't know about that. I don't think the Cubs are dumping that type of bat. It's not like Stroman, some kind of like power arm that's a top 2 guy in the rotation. He's number 3 at this point at best, and that's at best. Mike, it matters. You have to see what your 3rd round tackle is. You have to. Yeah, agreed. Totally agree. Phil, could you see the Cubs working to get Arenado or getting Alonso or Guerrero and putting Michael Busch at 3rd? I could see Michael Busch maybe at 3rd, but you're more likely to see Matt Shaw there, their top prospect. I think Alonso, I've been saying this for a while. I don't know how interested Toronto and all of you guys who are watching this in Toronto, I don't know how interested the Blue Jays are about moving on from Pedro Vladimir Guerrero Jr. anymore. I don't know if that's the case. It sounds like they're much more willing to have him there long-term. Pete Alonso only costs you money. Guerrero costs you prospects and money because you want to try to re-sign him. I'd bring Pete Alonso in if you could. Jess, I thought Sacco signed with the Mets minor league team, but either case, don't send him to Pittsburgh because the owner will ruin him like he's rooting Paul Skeens. Uh-oh, I forgot. Jess she's vested into the Pennsylvania market over there. How are you feeling yesterday, Jess? You okay? Are you a Steelers or Eagles fan? I think I feel like you might be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So I hope you're okay. They're going to be just fine. They clinched a playoff spot. I care about you. I forgot that you have that backyard, Penn State backyard. So no, I think, and I don't know if we're talking about the same player here, Roki Sasaki. So, and he's not coming over here to pitch in the minors either. Has the show that the Bills offense been putting on this season make Joe Brady more enticing? So, okay, great question, Swayze. I have been like, I don't want Joe Brady. And then it's been like football porn the last few weeks to watch the offense of the Buffalo Bills go to work. And Joe Brady makes like, he's more and more enticing every time they show him in the booth. It's like, man, you start thinking about what might be. Here's the only thing I don't know about Joe Brady. Like most offensive coordinators, what elevated to the CEO seat, let's call the head coach the CEO of the program, because that's what he is. What does he look like? I don't know. I don't know enough about Joe Brady to know if he is the guy that could be the next leader and voice of the Bears and command a room. Like the way this room in particular needs to be commanded. He's like 35 years old, which, by the way, doesn't matter because McVay was 30 when he got the job. I think Joe Brady's like, yeah, he's 35. Okay. He's 35 years old. Pretty damn good gig, right? I'm not saying no. I'm more open to it than I was 3 weeks ago. I need to know more about how he commands the room. Komet's catching at least 5. Start him. Oh, I love the advice coming in from the lunch hour crowd. Caleb didn't look his way last week because he was still upset with the Notre Dame USC. I'm not sure that's why, but I like where you're going. They were both at that Notre Dame USC game. I do have my bet of the day coming up, but those of you who have been following along might think go the other way. We will bring that up. It does have a Caleb Williams ring to it, so I'll make sure. Oh, you meant Sasaki. Yes, Jess. You still don't want him in Pittsburgh. That's funny that you don't want arguably the top Japanese arm talent available in a while in Pittsburgh. I don't know about that, Jess. I pair him with Skeens? Come on. You think, Ira, that Poles is gone. Kevin Warren will bring his own GM, lineup, new GM with new head coach and offensive decent. By the way, I don't know where Kevin Warren, not necessarily a football guy. So he was there to bring this new stadium to a closure. That's still out there. I'm getting a little concerned about all of it. The structure, the power. Getting a little concerned. I'm not. I can understand a case for Ryan Poles to be let go. I can. But I also would like to see more. I'd like to see one more shot. I'm starting to believe that Ryan Poles has been like other GMs in this town and doing a job with one arm tied behind his back. Jordo, yes, you were. I'm just asking if you were a teammate. Mayer has missed a ton of games. Absolutely. Dustin, who wins, Bears or Vikings? Trap game for Minnesota. Bears win 24-20. However, with Dave Montgomery out for the year, Minnesota is playing for the number one. Yeah, so we talked about Minnesota playing for that number one seed. They can finish the year 15-2. It's not that it's going to come down to the last game against the Detroit Lions in Detroit. That game will probably be the flex game. Dustin, I appreciate your positivity, man. 24-20. Don't get caught up in the way this game ended last time, 30-27 in overtime. It was 24-10 Vikings heading into the fourth quarter. Vikings were dominating, and then Caleb went off. I do not believe in the trap game in this case for well-coached teams that have what's the trap? If you told me they're playing trap games, usually mean they're looking ahead to next week's opponent. Next week's opponent's Seattle. So if it was Detroit, then I would say trap game. But it's not. I mean, by the way, Sam Darnold is playing out of his mind. He's playing out of his mind. He has 11 games with the quarterback rating over 100. That's insane. Once again, yes, Clyde. Once again, I'm acknowledging you were correct. Ira. Ryan Poles gets released because year 3 was significant downturn from year 2. The real problem is, Ira, to your point, it's not just about wins and losses. Look at the players. Like, how many players took a jump from here to here, right? How many players were like, yeah, that guy improved to here. This guy improved. This go up and down the roster. Who can you say that about? I think you can genuinely say that about Caleb Williams. I think you can. Which is crazy because he's had all kinds of chaos in his first year. Fired coaches, fired coordinators. You could actually make an argument that Caleb could be doing this. Instead, I think he's going this way. But I'm being dead serious. Name a player on either side of the football that has taken a jump from here to here. I'll hang up and listen for your answer. And that, to your point, Ira, is concerning. That would be a concern for me when you look at the evaluation process of these jobs. Yeah, Sean Mahomes with a week-to-week high ankle sprain. May not play this week. They do have the luxury. Here's the other thing about Kansas City. I think they have back-to-back short weeks, if I'm not mistaken. They play Saturday, right? Is that yeah. They play this Saturday at noon, and then they have the short turnaround. They have the Christmas Day game Wednesday at Pittsburgh. Here's the thing about them, though. They hold a 2-game cushion on here. I'm looking at the playoff format. They have a 2-game lead right now in Buffalo. So they don't want to lose a game, but they can afford to have a hiccup. Adrian, what's up, dude? Remember Cap going crazy when I said Jared Goff should not be close to the MVP and is being elevated to another level by Ben Johnson when he snapped at me and asked why I told him to watch Josh Allen. Well, then I guess you're holding. Bring those receipts out, man. That's what it's time. By the way, Jared Goff definitely deserves MVP votes. I mean, the guy's been unbelievable. That said, shout out to Liam Cohen, another great play. Yeah, no doubt. Bump that. Have Chicago Cup be a sponsor. Ooh, my guy, David Flom. Get him on board. Jess. Baltimore had a lot of trouble stopping Philly's offense. They had trouble shutting down KC's offense at the start. Baltimore defense is no. I'm just telling you teams I think that could give Kansas City a run in the playoffs. Also, are the same teams that have lost to them like they're veteran teams with veteran QBs that have had Kansas City on the ropes. If you told me the Kansas City Chiefs were in the Super Bowl this year, by the way, I'd be like, yeah, I believe you. Because why wouldn't I? If the Chiefs are the new 90s bad boy Pistons, but why are they? Why are they the 90s bad boy Pistons? My son, everyone hates them now because, why do you honestly hate the Kansas City Chiefs? Here are the two reasons I think are universal. Number one, because they're sick of seeing a team win so much. You get to a point where, I need to see someone. And number two, Taylor Swift. What are the other reasons? They're not bad. They don't have this bad boy Bill Laimbeer attitude. Who are the 90s up-and-coming Bulls who will dethrone them? The Ravens, the Bills, or the Lions? I mean, again, the Bills have been up-and-coming for a while. The Lions are certainly right there. I look at more like, when I think up-and-coming, I think of like the Texans would be up-and-coming, but they can't dethrone them yet. They're not good enough. And CJ Stroud has taken a step back. The Ravens have been there before. I mean, like, you'd have to look at that. Like, the Commanders would be up and coming. Good question. Of those choices, I think all three of those could beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs could obviously beat all three. I just don't think the Chiefs are the bad boys. I don't. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of people. Oh, I hate the Chiefs. Why? Because they're good. Put my money on the Lions. This is Jess responding to Pablo. I agree. I think I agree. Joseph thinks the Bears should tank. Like, wow. Poles has tanks, so should the Bears. Coming down the stretch here, my voice is going to need a break after this one. I'm feeling it a little bit here. Adrian, need the Bulls to lose out, but shout out to you, Guff. Always wanted to ask if you would call yourself a baseball guy first or another sport. Ooh, good question. So I think by default, everyone assumes I'm a baseball guy, right? I'm linked to the White Sox. I've covered a ton of baseball, Cubs included. I do a White Sox podcast. I host a baseball show on 670 The Score. I'm a football guy though. Like, I love football. I love watching film. I played football. I played baseball, but I played football in college. I coach it now. I love it. I love the sport. I love what football does for people, like what the team playing that game can do for you. It's a true team sport. It's unlike anything else. I just truly believe in like everything about it. I love football. So I'm an everything guy, Adrian. I love it all. It's, if I were ranking, baseball is right. I love the sport. I don't love it like football. I think football is just a different animal. I do obviously know the game of baseball, and I have relationships up and down and understand it, and I love it. But yeah, I think football is my bread. I just love. I can't wait for the college football playoff this weekend. I think it's finally right, and I love all divisions of football: 1, 2, 3. And I love it all. So yeah, I'm a football guy first. Yerk wants 2 offensive linemen. Yeah, Yurko's right. I think he's definitely down for it. So coming down the stretch here. Okay. All right, Broski. All right, there. How come you've waited so long? If I'm mispronouncing your name, you guys got to jump on me. Come on. All right, Broski. That makes more sense, by the way. Broski Bear never really makes much sense, but I have somebody I know that has a similar spelling to that name, and it's Bra. Okay, so I went with what I know. There it is, Jess. I knew. I had a feeling. Well, you're going to the playoffs because you have one of the best coaches ever do it. So So what is my bet of the day, you ask? Well, a lot of you probably don't, but those of you who are fading me, you might. So first of all, let's go back to Friday, where I had a little same game parlay of Nikola Vucevic over assists and rebounds, or assists and threes. Yet, right before the game, he was a late scratch due to illness. So maybe I got my sickness from Nikola Vucevic. So Friday's a carryover. It was no win, no loss, no push. It just was a voided bet. Today, taking this one. I love this bet. I think the Bears are going to be down. I don't think that's a big secret. Hopefully, it doesn't resemble last week's game, which was embarrassing at the half. That saw more punts than yards. That's just absolutely should never happen. It's absolute. So let's expect a different result from that aspect. 224.5. Caleb's gone over that number in 3 of his last 4. He did not do it last week because they didn't do a damn thing until the third quarter. He threw for 340, which is his second best of his career. 363 down in Indianapolis, way back on September 22nd. But while I don't expect the Bears to come back like they did in that game on November 24th, I do expect Caleb to hit this number, 224.5. I'm going over. Who's riding with me? It's time to start changing the things up. It's time to start getting that 224 over. You don't know the dirt about Andy Reid that I know. He's a terrible person and terrible dad. Wow. Curveball, right? So, okay, bros. Hey, I don't think any of us know about everybody, about everything about everybody. Okay. All right. So that was a buzzkill from my bet of the day, which ride with me or not, maybe go the other way, which is fine too. And we'll reconvene tomorrow. There's my guy, TSI. What up, TSI Mike? I just was talking about you guys earlier. All my friends over at Toronto Sports Insider. By the way, screw that. Go Bulls. This is the one item one. I kind of actually, you know what? Go Raptors. Go Raptors, because the Bulls need to lose. They need to keep that top 10 pick. And if they keep winning, they're going to find themselves on the outside looking in from an extremely talented draft class in 2025. So you know what, TSI Mike? Go Raptors. And for all of you watching from Toronto Sports Insider, absolutely. Go Raptors. Only tonight, though. Only tonight. I'm giving you guys a little, I'm giving you a pass because you're friends of the program, just like we are over at Toronto Sports Insider. All right, everybody. Jess, one more. Hope the Bears can establish the run a little bit so Caleb can open up the pass and hit that over 224.5. I love it, Jess. I love it. And love all of you guys. Appreciate you joining me for this edition of the Recap Lunch Hour with me, Ryan McGuffey, for one more time. One more time for the new graphic. It's been Lunch with Guff. We will see you tomorrow. As always, we will be recapping the Chicago Bears. Should I even say hopeful win? We haven't been able to change this narrative in months. I don't see it changing tonight. For Ryan McGuffey, for those behind the scenes here at the Recap, make sure as soon as the game goes final, Cap will have a recap detailing the highs and lows of tonight's game. Make sure you flip over to the channel as soon as the game goes final, and that is posted and ready to go. In the meantime, we will see you guys tomorrow. This guy needs some water. Take that.